Hello everybody. Before I begin, I want to tell you that this review of Haunted High is going to be very spoilerish. So if you have not seen Haunted High, I wouldn't recommend watching this review just yet. Just turn it off, watch it, and then come back to it. So let's talk about the cast of Haunted High. First we got Danny Trejo. I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but I haven't seen it. He's been in Machete, but that's a movie I've yet to see. Also in this film is Charisma Carpenter, who's well known for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. And next you got MC Gainey. MC Gainey, who I remember seeing him from Lost, and he's been in some other movies as well. We have also Mark Donetto. I don't know if that's how you say his last name, and Jonathan Barron. And see, other than that, the only other addition to that movie is Shawn C Phillips, who's on YouTube as Cool Duder. So let's talk about the film, what I liked and what I didn't like about Haunted High. It starts off when there's a kid in the basement, and he has these little coins that have like a little pendant on it, I don't know what you call it, looks kind of like a witchcraft pendant thing. Anyway, it drops it on the floor in the boiler room, and then the whole place starts to open up the portal really for a ghost to appear, and then these ghosts just basically kill everybody off one by one. And there's a little more to the story, but you find that out when you watch the film. But after these ghosts get released, they kill people one by one. So what I have to say about the actual deaths is there's a couple characters that are in this movies that when I heard that they were in it, I was expecting them to be in it for much longer. But instead, there's actually a lot of popular characters that are in the story. Charisma Carpenter, I can think of one. She was in it, but she only had one scene, and she was one of the first kills in the film. And you expect her being, I expected her role to be a little bit bigger, and also some of the deaths in the movie were, how can I say, a little cheesy. Like the Charisma Carpenter character who played the librarian, her scene was very brief, and even her death was like, what I could take out of that scene was, I would have liked to see more gore. You basically see her bend forward, and you don't see the rest of what happened. I'd like to see more gore. Also, what else I would have liked to see is have the ghost kill one of the victims and then possess them in some way, so when they're with the other classmates, they don't know that they're the ghost. And I think that might have made the story a little bit more interesting, knowing that they could possess the living. And then that they could kill the victims that way too. That would have been a nice thing to do, because in the whole story the students didn't really know what the hell was going on until they got to the very end of it, when all hell started to break loose. There are there's cheesy deaths, like another scene with one of the students and her head explodes. You see the reflection and the reflection of it happening, and then the blood. But I don't know if that was too expensive to do, but it would be nice to see her head kind of explode without looking at the shadow. And there were a couple other ones, like the guy going through the trophy case. I don't know what that wasn't about, but all the other scenes were all right. death scene wise, but the I could tell the scene with the cool booter at the end involved a lot of green screen for that. So I knew, being a film guy, I know that most of that was green screen, and most of that was digitized. Most of the characters that are still alive are there, and they're figuring out what the hell's going on. Of course, you got people on different sides, people thinking, and after that, the group meeting, they all, they have their own thoughts about it, but they all go their separate ways afterwards. What makes a good horror movie? People don't always take the same sides, and people always go off. Another main thing that I thought about this film was, at the beginning of the film you saw a whole bunch of students, but by the time the movie started going, you started to see that there was it was just the cast there, but all the extras that were there in the beginning of the film weren't being killed by the ghost. I mean, where'd they go? Did they go home? It's like all the extras that were in the beginning of the film, and it just, when it started to flow into the story, there wasn't that many extras around. It was just the main cast that was around. Right after the first 5 minutes or so, anybody that was an extra that didn't have a line was not seen through the rest of the film. It was mainly the supporting cast. One thing I do have to add is I think the cast was a little bit too big for this film. They could have done this. I think this film was around an hour and 40-something minutes, but there were commercials, so I don't know exactly how long. It was probably an hour 40-something minutes, but they could have made it more into like an hour and a half, and they could have had less of a cast. They didn't really have to have, I don't think they had to have the choir cast or all the instructors. They didn't need to have that many students or extras in this film. They could have created it more simple and just had it, the main storyline with them, and it would have worked fine that way. But I think they wanted to add, other things going on in the school too. So that's, but the cast for me, it got kind of big. It's like you have like, I don't know how many deaths there were, but we basically had to watch everyone die before we got to the end of the movie. It's like, next one dies, the next one dies, the next one, and then we get to when it starts narrowing down to the surviving cast members. It puts the story onto them, and somebody has to survive. Somebody has to survive to beat this. So that's, I think they could have done without maybe 3 or 4 of the cast members, because there's just, to me, too much of them in the story. They could have created more. When I look at this, I look at films like the Faculty, which had just 6 students, and there were some extras, but it wasn't too much. It was just the right amount of cast members for that type of film. But this particular film, I think they could have done without less cast members. But definitely, I think that Shawn's character, Blake, I think he was like the most favorite character of the bunch. I know he wasn't the main character, but he was my favorite in the story. And the characters that survived, I cared that they made it through the end. But the last line in the film was, it's like very, it's like, we can graduate. Your school just went into the ground. So, and I think they could have designed a better. What I would think is they could have designed a better last line of the film, because saying we get to graduate now, well, most of everybody's dead now, and the teachers are dead, and they could have come up with a different dialogue for the end, I think. I wouldn't have ended it with, we can graduate now. Fade to black. I would have ended it differently, but what I would like to see out of this film is maybe a behind the scenes, maybe they can release it on Blu-ray or DVD. I don't know if it's coming out right now, but all I know right now is right now it's available on the Redbox at certain locations, and it's on the Syfy channel. So out of 5 stars, I give Haunted High a 3 out of 5 stars. And my recommendation out of skip, rent, or buy, well, right now buy is not an option, but the option to buy it is not available right now, so I would definitely give this a rental, a high rental. So please check out Cool Duder in his supporting role in Haunted High.
What if all the stories are true? Except they have some kind of magic power.
Power to get into the spirit world.
Hello?
Every soul they take makes them stronger.
A sci-fi original movie. Haunted High premieres this Saturday at 9, only on Syfy.